Talk here on UGA Football News on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Chris Hall, your host, and we've popped in here on a Monday night. We have a big old stack of stuff that we want to talk about University of Georgia football. Yeah, my producer says, "Hey, let's put up the back screen of Sanford Stadium." And kind of get into the atmosphere of being in the stadium. I said, well, okay, well, let's do that. And so there we are. Really wish we were actually there. I suppose the guys and Coach Kirby Smart are all out on the field practicing now. Don't you think? They probably, practice is probably still going on as a fall. I guess they call it fall practice, but it is summertime in the South. Anyway, practice is going on as the Bulldogs prepare for that first game against the Oregon Ducks coming up on Saturday, September 3rd, 3:30, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And what is that, 21 days away now, or 20 days or something like that away from kickoff. So, man, we are getting ever so closer to the beginning of the football season for the University of Georgia as the Bulldogs will defend their crown, the national championship crown for the 2023 season. By the way, one of the things we love around here is SEC Shorts. It's an organization that produces all these great videos concerning SEC football. They're based in Birmingham, Alabama. I would encourage you to check them out. They have they put up a new video, as we look forward to the 2023 season, and they're always hilarious. These videos are always hilarious, and of course, in this video they show the University of Georgia walking the red carpet. They have a guy representing the University of Georgia. He's walking the red carpet to get on the plane for the start of the 2023 season. Check it out; it's just hilarious. It's SEC Shorts. I guess it's what? SECshorts.com, something like that. You can check them out and check out that video. I think you will enjoy it. And so here we are. We do have some things we want to talk about, and we're going to be here pretty consistently now as we're under 3 weeks until the start of the season. By the way, coming up this season, some of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be having a pregame show, a halftime show, and a postgame show for each of the games for the Bulldogs. And we'll kind of give you the opportunity to sound off a little bit as we anticipate the game, as the game is going on at halftime. And then in the aftermath of a Georgia Bulldog victory, we'll give you the opportunity to chime in and put your 2 cents worth in. By the way, I've been on vacation. We've taken some time off. You got to take some time off when you can get some time off. And so me and my dear bride and the family, we went down to Florida, went to the beach, and boy, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. My grandchildren are growing up, and I played football on the beach, played basketball, um, and celebrated my birthday while we were there. It was just a great time. Came back totally exhausted. I was zapped, you know, but it was a great time. But now we're back at it here, and we're having some guys check in. Cheryl Lee Hilliard, good to have you with us. Gene Halliford checking in. Good to have you with us. So, and if you want to come in here with something, we invite you to do that, and you can make your comments known as we anticipate the University of Georgia kicking it off. And so I have a stack of stuff here. Our producers have put together a stack of stuff. And, you hear a lot on the media platforms about the fall practice and how it's going and who is shining out and who's doing really a great job and what Kirby Smart has to say about, the practices. Hey, it's, pretty well a canned presentation of what's going on with the University of Georgia. But tonight we've got a stack of stuff and things we're going to talk about that maybe are a little different, having to do with Georgia. So you want to get right into it? Let's get right into it. Okay, so Georgia opens the season against Oregon, and that'll be September the 3rd. And I've been kind of perusing a little bit over at Oregon at their the media sites for the Oregon Ducks. Looks like they're having a pretty good pretty good time of getting ready. Hey, Joey, how you doing, my man? Pretty good time of getting everything together for the coming season. Dan Lanning's a good football coach. I have no doubt he's going to be very successful at Oregon. The question is, there's kind of a question and a discussion now with the Oregon Ducks as to who's going to play quarterback for Oregon when they face Georgia. You have Bo Nix, of course, Bo Nix, former Auburn quarterback, transferred to Oregon in the offseason. Had a kind of an up and down career with Auburn, but he's a handful. Boy, he gave Georgia fits when Georgia played Oregon this past season. But who's going to play quarterback for Oregon? They have a couple of guys, Ty Thompson and Jay Butterfield. Now, each one of I don't know anything about these guys, but apparently they're very well thought of football players, quarterbacks. And so you have a competition going on between Bo Nix, Ty Thompson, and Jay Butterfield. It's probably one of those things where you have this kind of faux competition going on. Bo Nix, obviously, most probably, is going to be the starting quarterback for Oregon. He's very familiar with Georgia, and so we anticipate that. But there's a big discussion on the media boards, media sites with Oregon, who's going to be the starting quarterback. But here I am sitting in South Georgia, knowing nothing, very very little about the Oregon Ducks, and I am prognosticating and proclaiming that Bo Nix will be their quarterback. Steve Conley chimes in. Rumors say that Oregon O-line is having trouble. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard something about that as well. And that may spell trouble for them when they face Georgia's defense. By the way, Georgia's defense, Kirby Smart whined and complained big time about the defense. They were not producing as he wanted them to produce. They didn't look like they were very enthusiastic. And that's what coaches do, they put a little burner, under you, a little fire under you. He says the offense is far ahead of the defense, and that's what coaches do. So he's fired it up. We have a good friend, Rusty Mansell, who is the hardest working man in college football media. Rusty's a good friend of ours. He's often on our program. He works for 247 Sports. He's doing, high school football for high schools in Georgia, working with Peachtree TV out of Atlanta. Rusty, he's a good guy. He's a great guy. He's a good friend of ours. And anyway, Rusty recently for 247 Sports made a prediction for each of the regular season games for Georgia. And so it's kind of interesting. Rusty, he's going to be back on our program very soon. We'll be talking to him about this. But I thought some of his predictions were kind of interesting. He has Georgia beating Oregon 31-20 at Mercedes-Benz. Then he has Georgia beating Samford, and not Stanford now, not the bunch from California, but the bunch from Birmingham, Alabama, Samford, 44-10 in Athens. Week 3 has Georgia beating North Carolina 34-17. That game will be in Columbia. Week 4 he has Georgia beating Kent State 51-9. Then week 5 Rusty has Georgia beating Missouri 27-14. Week 6 he has Georgia beating Auburn 34-20. That game will be in Athens. Week 7 he has Georgia beating Vanderbilt 48-10. Week 8 he has Georgia beating Florida 24-20. So Rusty says that game's going to be tight and tough in Jacksonville. Week 9, Rusty Mansell has Georgia beating Tennessee 33-27 in Athens. So he has that game kind of close. Week 10, he has Georgia beating Mississippi State. Rusty has Georgia beating Mississippi State at Starkville 24-23. So Rusty says that's going to be a game for Georgia to watch. Week 11, Rusty Mansell has Georgia beating Kentucky 28-13. Week 12, Rusty has Georgia beating Georgia Tech 49-7. So Rusty Mansell from 247 Sports has Georgia going undefeated again in the regular season, facing Alabama in the SEC championship game. He has no prediction for that game. But for the regular season, Rusty Mansell, 247 Sports, has Georgia going undefeated. But he has some tight ball games in his prediction. Some tight ball games. with Florida, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. So I kind of go out with that. Listen, a lot of the I guess preseason top 20 team predictions are coming out. Rankings are coming out. Most outlets that I have seen, including AP, I think AP put out its top 20 today, and the coaches poll came out a few days ago. And almost all of these preseason predictions. As Steve says, you asked the question, come on, Rusty, no shutouts. No, he doesn't have a shutout on any of these. Closest one, I suppose, would be, well, he even has Samford scoring 10 points. Kent State scoring 9, Georgia Tech 7. You got to think somewhere in there that Georgia defense will have a shutout. I'm with you, Steve. Steve, I'm with you. Anyway, most of the outlets, have put out their preseason top 20 polls, and most of the outlets, and it's pretty consistent across the board. I think there's one or two that may have something different, but most outlets have Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia as 1, 2, and 3. Now, I think, and I can't remember which poll it is, but I think one of the polls has Georgia number 2 ahead of Ohio State. But most consistently out of, the AP and these magazines and these other prognostications, you have Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia as 1, 2, and 3. So it's kind of interesting to think about, okay, that's pretty well there. Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. What about other teams? Hey, Randy, how you doing? Go Dogs from Tifton, beautiful Tifton, Georgia. Grady, my man, what's going on? Yes. Okay. Well, Grady's got his own predictions here for what's coming up. So what are the other teams? You got Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. Okay, that's pretty consistent. What are the other teams that people are talking about? Did a little perusing. Clemson is said to have a great defense coming in. If they get some quarterback play and if their offense gets straightened out, Clemson could be a contender for one of those spots, or at least make the playoffs. Then you have USC, Southern California. Offensive firepower, pretty good defense. The Utah Utes. Every time I say that, I think about that movie, the Utes of America. What was that movie? I forget the movie. Anyway, the Utah Utes have a good combination of talent and experience. So Hollywood from Woodstock, Georgia. Hey, how you doing? So you got Utah there. You got Clemson, USC, Utah. Then you have Michigan, Oklahoma, Brigham Young. Won 10 games in 2021. They have almost everybody back on their team. Let's see, and then you have teams like Baylor, maybe Houston, University of Houston. Anyway, so but consistently, if you pick up a magazine as you're checking out of the, my cousin Vinny, that's right. Yes, that's it. The Utes of America, Anyway, if when you're checking out at the grocery store and you pick up one of those, magazines that have college football preseason for 2023, you have Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia, usually 1, 2, and 3. But you got these other teams. You got Clemson, Southern California, Utah, Michigan, Oklahoma, BYU, Houston. It's going to be interesting. Of course, you can prognosticate and, predict all you want to, but hey, we're ready to go. A couple of other stuffs. And again, our producers, they've just kind of piled some stuff on me here because I've been at the beach, and boy, the beach was beautiful. And I was throwing the football with my grandson, and I was putting it in there. I had a pretty good spiral. I just, the old boy may still have it. I don't know. I'm good for one play in a game. Put me in, coach. But one play is it. That's all you get out of me. Anyway, former Georgia Bulldog Hines Ward is going to coach an XFL team in San Antonio, Texas. So how about that? Well, you go, Hines. Played, of course, with the University of Georgia, 1994 to 1997. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the third round of the 1998 draft. He spent 14 years in professional football. Great guy. Let's say he served on the staff at Florida Atlantic, I believe, this past season. He also was with Jets, right? Yeah, offensive assistant with the Jets. But anyway, now the XFL is coming in. Their season starts, the new season starts February of 2023. It'll have 8 teams, and Hines Ward is going to be the coach of the San Antonio team. I don't know what their nickname is or whatever. But anyway, you go Hines. We'll be pulling for Hines Ward. Athlon Sports recently put out the all-time Georgia Bulldog team. They looked at the entire. By the way, I saw, and we've got to get this video. I saw a video of the first. It was like 20 seconds, maybe, of a video of the very first game ever played at Sanford Stadium. You see in the background we have Sanford Stadium. And I saw a video of the very first, it was like 20 seconds or something, old black and white, with all the spots in it and that kind of thing. But it was like the Georgia beat Yale 9-0 or 13-0 or something like that. And the very first game ever played at Sanford Stadium. We got to get that video up. Somebody found it, and we've got to get that video up. I mean, it was our quarterback for Georgia throwing a touchdown pass. He threw a touchdown pass, and Georgia beat Yale, and they were both the Bulldogs. Yale's Bulldogs, and I think Georgia, they had a goat back then as their mascot, right? I don't know if they're the Georgia Goats or whatever they were, but anyway, we've got to get that video up. Anyway, Athlon Sports has the all-time Bulldogs team. They went through the history of the University of Georgia, and they put together an all-time Bulldogs team. Okay. And we're going to run through that right quick. Head coach Vince Dooley. They said head coach Vince Dooley, he's the best Georgia has ever had. Then they have offensive coordinator Mark Richt. Now, Mark Richt was the offensive quarterback at our offensive coordinator, rather, at Florida State. And then he became the head coach. But Athlon says that Vince Dooley was the best head coach, the best offensive, coordinator coach. Mark Richt, the best defensive coordinator coach, Kirby Smart. Now, on offense, here we go. On offense, here's the all-time Georgia team, according to Athlon Sports. At quarterback, Fran Tarkenton. Played at Georgia 1957 to 1960. Fran Tarkenton, great quarterback. Remember him? I remember him playing. Got a little age on you there, boy. Running back, who else? Herschel Walker. Played for Georgia 1980 to 1982. One of 2 Heisman Trophy winning backs, of course, Herschel Walker. One of the picked as one of the all-time running backs of the University of Georgia. The other running back that was picked by Athlon Sports. Yeah, not Urt Russell. I agree with you, Steve. Yeah. But, could have been there. The other running back, Terrell Davis, played at Georgia 1991 to 94. Wide receiver, the all-time great wide receiver at the University of Georgia, Hines Ward, played for Georgia 1994 to 97. Another wide receiver, Terrence Edwards, 1999 to 2002. Bulldogs all-time leader in catches, receiving yards, and touchdown receptions. Another wide receiver picked on the University of Georgia all-time league, our all-time team, the best all-time. A.J. Green, 2008 to 2010. The tight end, the best tight end ever to play at the University of Georgia, according to Athlon Sports, Richard Appleby. And yes, he was great, 1971 to 75. Of course, that tight end room at the University of Georgia right now. Are you kidding me? Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, Rick Gilbert. I mean, and we got Delp. We got Oscar Delp. I mean, the tight end room at the University of Georgia is like, hello, mama. Tackle, Offensive tackle, Matt Stinchcomb, 1995 to 98. Guard, Royce Smith, 1967 to 1971. Center, Ben Jones, 2008 to 2011. Now, this is the all-time Georgia Bulldog team, from every era, the all-time team picked by Athlon Sports. Guard, Max Gene Gillis, 2002 to 2005. Tackle, Andrew Thomas. Offensive tackle, Andrew Thomas, 2017 to 2019. So that's the offensive team. Now, the defense, the defensive team, okay? This is the all-time defensive team for the University of Georgia, according to Athlon Sports. Defensive end, David Pollock. Good guy. Check out his podcast. What is it? The Pollock Family Foundation podcast. Yeah. And David Pollock, just a great guy. He works with ESPN. He was picked as the all-time Georgia defensive end. Defensive tackle, Richard Seymour, just went into the Hall of Fame, right? The Pro Football Hall of Fame. How about that? First team All-American, 1997 to 2000. Defensive tackle, Bill Stanfield. What a man. I mean, Bill Stanfield from nearby Valdosta, Georgia, where we are, nearby to us, 1965 to 68. Of course, he went on to play for the Miami Dolphins and won some Super Bowls, or not Super Bowls. Oh, yeah, he won 2 Super Bowls with Miami. So Bill Stanfield, defensive tackle. Another defensive tackle. This is the all-time, Georgia, University of Georgia team, according to Athlon Sports. Defensive tackle, Geno Atkins, 2006 to 2009. I interviewed Geno Atkins. He's a good guy. Played for Cincinnati. And I don't think he's on an NFL roster now. He may be a free agent. Or he may be done. I don't know. He may be done. Defensive end, Freddie Gilbert, 1980 to 83. Linebacker, Ben Zambizi. One of the great names for the University of Georgia, 1974 to 77. Linebacker, Boss Bailey. This is the all-time Georgia, team, according to Athlon Sports. Boss played for Georgia 1998 to 2002. First team All-American. Champ Bailey's little brother. There you go, Boss Bailey. Named as one of the all-time linebackers of the University of Georgia. And, of course, another linebacker, Roquan Smith, 2015 to 2017, playing for Georgia. Won the Butkus Award. All-Pro, second-team All-Pro honors with Chicago. And now he wants to trade. Yeah, Roquan says, okay, I've had enough of Chicago. I want to go somewhere else. So we'll see where Roquan winds up. A linebacker, Jarvis Jones. How about that? 2010 to 2012. Good guy. Had the opportunity to talk with Jarvis not long ago. Good guy. On the staff now for the University of Georgia as assistant, linebacker assistant. Played for Georgia 2010 to 2012. Defensive back, Terry Hogue. Now, Terry Hogue was a great player for the University of Georgia. Blocked the field goal against Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl to help Georgia secure the 1980 national championship. Terry played for Georgia 1980 to 83. Defensive back, Jake Scott. Boy, these are some pretty good players. Jake Scott played for Georgia 1996 to 1968. Defensive back, DeAndre Baker, 2015 to 2018. Defensive back, Champ Bailey, 1996 to 98. First ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer, College Football Hall of Famer, good friend of ours, partner in what we're doing here, Champ Bailey. So this is the all-time Georgia team, according to Athlon Sports. Special teams, Kevin Butler, the kicker. Punter, Drew Butler. How about that? Kicker, Brandon Boykin, 2008 to 2011. Punt returner, Isaiah McKenzie, 2014 to 2016. And, they made their name, did a great job for the No, let's see. No, Brandon's there. Brandon Boykin. Bryce Dixon wants to know. No, he's there. 2008 to 2011. He's the kick returner and punt returner Isaiah McKenzie, 2014 to 16. And they made their name. They did great things on the field behind us. Sanford Stadium. So that's the all-time Georgia team according to Athlon Sports. Pretty good. Some other things, there's always a lot of discussion about the Florida Georgia game. Should it stay in Jacksonville? Should it be a home and home thing? Excuse me. Sorry. Kirby Smart's thing has always been that in Jacksonville you can't invite recruits to come to the game. I guess some kind of restriction or some kind of thing. And but now the rules have been changed, and you can invite Florida and Georgia can invite recruits to come to that game. A lot of discussion, should it get moved from Jacksonville? Should it be a home and home kind of thing? Been a lot of discussion about that. Apparently, it's going to stay in Jacksonville for a while. But the CEO of the Peach Bowl it said, you guys can bring the game to Mercedes-Benz Stadium if you want to. So he's suggesting, this is Gary Stockton, who's the Peach Bowl president and CEO, suggests that the game be rotated, the Georgia-Florida game be rotated between Athens, Gainesville, Atlanta, and Jacksonville, or play 3 games in Jacksonville, 1 in Atlanta. So anyway, so there's a lot of discussion about that. Apparently, there's a deal in place through 2025 or something like that. So hey, it's a traditional thing, Georgia and Florida and Jacksonville. Wouldn't you like to see it go home and home? I'd like to see it go home and home. Oh, you can leave tickets for the players. Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you, Randy. Yeah, you can't really interact with the players. You can leave tickets now for the players and their families for that game. Each school can. But you can't smooze them up. I don't know. Why did that start? You need to need to get my producer to look into that. Why did it start in Jacksonville? Let's do the home and home thing. Okay, so Georgia and Oregon will kick off 3:30 p.m. Saturday, September 3rd, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's sold out. And so the ESPN says they've announced the announcers. Who are going to be the announcers for that game? Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, and Molly McGrath. I like that. They're good. I'm a connoisseur of play-by-play guys. Used to do a little bit of that myself. In fact, I still do it. If anybody needs a good play-by-play man, here I am. But anyway, I enjoy good play-by-play, calling. Some announcers, I can't get it. But anyway, so when you turn on the game to ESPN on Saturday, September 3rd, 20 days away or something like that. Sean McDonough, he's great. He's from Boston. I think he does play-by-play for Boston, the baseball team, right? Yeah, for Boston, the Red Sox. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, and Molly McGrath. This will be the second meeting between Georgia and Oregon. And the previous meeting, Georgia beat Oregon 27-16. This is the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Yeah, that's what it is. So, in previous Chick-fil-A games, Georgia beat North Carolina 33-24. Lost to Boise State. Man, we remember that one, don't we? Ooh, ouch. 35-21, 2011. Georgia was supposed to play Virginia in the opening of the 2020 season in Atlanta, but that was canceled because of the pandemic. So there you go. All right, let's see. It's kind of interesting. Okay, there's a lot of, people are talking already about the Heisman. What? Mentioned Southeast Mortgage. Yes, Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. what is their motto? Every good dog deserves a good house, or every dog deserves a good house, or something like that. We love the people at Southeast Mortgage. They're good people, and if you're, these days it's complicated. My wife and I bought a house, and that thing like that drove me crazy. I had to sign this, I had to look at that, I had to call this, I had to figure out that, and that thing like that. I went bonkers over the thing. Finally, got all of the I's dotted, the T's crossed, and bought the house. But the people who helped us were great too. But Southeast Mortgage, they're top notch, number one. They love the University of Georgia. Check them out. Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. There you go. Okay. So yeah. Okay. There's a lot of preseason Heisman hype, you know, and every and I see these lists of the best quarterbacks of the SEC, Heisman contenders. And look, I'm a Stetson Bennett guy. He's our quarterback. He did great last year. I had my doubts at times, but when it was there, he produced that fourth quarter against Alabama in the national championship game, one for the ages. I mean, when it was on the line, the kid produced. He was great. But he gets so much disrespect. They have all these lists of the best quarterbacks of the SEC, and you got Stetson down there like number 10 or something like that. I think he was picked as the 49th best quarterback and of all the major colleges, college football teams. Well, it's kind of interesting. Listen to this, listen to this. What? Due to his passing skills at the beach, I know. Yeah. Hey, why not? Why not? I could Heisman. There you go. Anyway, listen, since the 2020 season, the Bulldogs have averaged 2.7 points per drive when Stetson Bennett was the quarterback. Okay. In the most recent season, the Bulldogs averaged 3 points per drive with Stetson Bennett as the quarterback. In fact, over the last two seasons, 51% of Bennett's drives have ended with points being put on the board for the University of Georgia. Now, that's not bad. For comparison, in 2021, the Alabama Crimson Tide's offense averaged 2.7 points per drive when Heisman winning quarterback Bryce Young was on the field. Young also led his team down the field for points 52% of the time. The only difference between the two was Bennett completed 180 total drives since 2020, while Young has finished 174 for the Tide in 2021. So basically, all that means is that Stetson Bennett is right there with Bryce Young as far as production is concerned for points as a quarterback. I'm tired of my man getting disrespected. He won the national championship. Plus, he got that new haircut. Did you see the new haircut? The frizzy is gone. The frizzy is gone. Man, we got us a GI. We got us a GI cut. Looks, markedly different. Part of his attitude now. You go, Stetson. Man, I hope he burns it up this year. If I don't win the Heisman Trophy because of my ability on the beach, I hope Stetson does. Okay, so Coca-Cola. In 1980, Coca-Cola produced a first of its kind commemorative bottle and accompanying tray celebrating Georgia's national championship. That's 1980. Okay, so my son has a whole, he's got a lot of those, and he's got a whole, tray of them and that kind of thing. From 1980, Coca-Cola, right? Celebrating the University of Georgia national championship. Well, Coca-Cola has now put out a commemorative glass bottle celebrating Georgia's 2021 national championship. And so you can find them at stores. They're out now, and they're rolling around. Stetson wins Heisman only if Georgia wins national championship. Yeah, come to think of it, but I think the voting for the Heisman comes before the national championship game. But if he does good, he's got a shot. I got a sneaking suspicion he won't win it, but hey. Okay, week 1 AP poll top 25. This is like a major poll, okay? Came out, was it yesterday? Came out yesterday or came out today. Okay, came out today. This is week 1 AP poll top 25. This is one that, they use a lot when they determine, who's number 1 as far as the college football playoff thing is concerned. Of course, that really doesn't start until like the 6th or 7th game in the season. So here's what the AP says. They have Alabama number 1, 54 first place votes. Ohio State number 2, 6 first place votes. Georgia number 3 with 3 first place votes. And then you got here's the rest of the top 25. Clemson, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Utah, Michigan, Oklahoma, Baylor, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, North Carolina State, Southern California, Michigan State, Miami, Pitt, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Wake Forest, Cincinnati, Houston, and BYU. So you've got Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia, the usual suspects, number 1, 2, and 3, according to the AP poll. By the way, the College Football National Championship game is coming back to Mercedes-Benz Stadiums. I think in 2020, was it 2025 or 2026? That was announced today as well. Okay, so recruiting is going hot and heavy. Georgia's picked up a lot of recruits. Pretty stellar recruits for the 2023 class and the 2024 class. Georgia's missing out a lot though on guys from Georgia. Some guys from Georgia, high school players from Georgia, have gone elsewhere. The thing that breaks your heart is when they go to Alabama. Don't do it. Just don't do it. When you go to Alabama, but we still love you anyway. So 2023, according to 247sports.com, here's the top recruiting classes at the moment. Now, there are some determinations coming up or some commitments coming up that may alter this. You got Alabama number 1 with the number 1 recruiting class, according to 247 Sports. They have 20 commitments. Notre Dame number 2 with 23 commitments for the 2023 class. Texas number 3 with 22 commitments. Ohio State number 4, Georgia number 5. Georgia has 18 commitments now for the 2023 class. Then you have LSU, Oklahoma, Clemson, Miami, and Florida. So that's where we stand as far as recruiting is concerned. Okay, is that enough? Yeah, we is that all we have? That's all we have. All right, guys, we love you. Now, look, we're going to be back on a regular basis. We'll give you kind of like it's all about the money for some high school players. Yeah, Randy makes that point. This NIL thing. I sit way away from it. So it's good, but it's bad. It's being misused. I don't know. Yeah, it's all about the money. Somehow, some way, something's got to be done to you get a little control on it. Is my personal opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, listen, we're not that far away from Georgia taking on Oregon in the first game of the season. By the way, week 0 is what? August 27th, which is technically, I guess, the first week of college football. A lot of low-level games, but a couple of them are kind of interesting. You have Cincinnati at Arkansas in that week 0, the first week or whatever. Cincinnati, Bearcats, pretty good team, coming to Fayetteville to play Arkansas on August 27th, I believe it is. And then you have Vanderbilt going to Hawaii. Is all right? Vanderbilt for that first game. Yeah, Gene, I agree. NIL is good for the players, but somehow, some way, we got to get I don't know. We got to get a handle on this thing, control on this thing. We'll see. I'm ambivalent about it. I can see the benefit for the player, but then, what it's doing for the sport is kind of concerning. You already have some disparity now in college football. You just do. I know you have some teams that can, slide in there and have a pretty good year, but man, consistently you have 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that are always there, always there. But I don't know what you can do about that. You got recruiting and all that. Anyway, we'll have to see how it works out. Well, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a Monday at my house, but it's been a joy joining you with you tonight for a little dog talk here on UGA Football News on Facebook and Instagram. Be sure to check us out. Previous programs can be found at todaysportsreport.com. You can check us out at UGA Football News on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Chris Hall, your host for Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. Thank you for joining with us tonight. And remember, go Dogs.